Okay, I guess I'm Mike's friend. He's not here. So, Dr. Mike, first of all, I hope that you're being like tongue-in-cheek, kind of humorous. Otherwise, I fear either for your eyesight or your mental health. Because obviously, your physique's nowhere near Mike Mentzer, even with all the PEDs that you're taking.
Do you guys know that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, bald bull-looking asshole, you know, the one with that bullshit PhD? Mike the shithead Israetel? You know, the guy that always has to remind us that he's a doctor, he knows more than anybody else, and he has to talk about that PhD, which now we know is a big piece of shit. You guys know that asshole, right? Well, now, Dorian Yates, the legendary bodybuilder and close friends of the late Mike Mentzer, heard that bald bull-looking motherfucker was talking shit about him, and he ain't too happy about it. And he didn't just call him a piece of shit. He called him a big bag of shit. And wait until I show you this shit.
It's worth it, mate, because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
I heard about Mike Mentzer 20 years ago, and by the time I heard about him, everything he ever thought and said had already been written and said. I could have fully appraised the breadth of his analysis, because he was like relevant in the 80s, and then no longer. It was RIP. He just isn't around. And so when people are like, what do you think about Mike Mentzer? My asshole thought is, whatever I think about Mike Mentzer, I already thought it 20 years ago, which means that Mike Mentzer had a couple of things he said that were brilliant, spot on, and absolutely require our consideration. He had a few other things he said which were insane, psychotic, totally dumb, and fucking backwards wrong. So with the Mike Mentzer thing, because it's a fad, it's like, we already know what Mike Mentzer did that worked well, and we already know what he did that didn't work well.
So by now the world knows what kind of piece of shit PhD that Mike Israetel turned in. You know, that dissertation, I looked at it for a few minutes, and I was like, you know, those kids, you remember the kids in the special education classes in high school? They could have even done a better job than him. And that got me thinking further. You know, that university, they must have been giving out these PhDs like candies, making everybody a doctor who just put in a dissertation, right? And that got me thinking, it reminded me of the IFBB. You know how they just make everyone a pro now who just shows up, they give them out like candies? Well, except for Mike, because he tried to get his pro card and he couldn't get one. And he blamed it on his tan. Well, this asshole started talking shit about Mike Mentzer, saying he looks better than him, he's smarter than him, and I'm like, you know, what mirror is this asshole looking into? Whatever it is, send it to me, because then maybe I'll look into it and think I look like Elvis, you asshole.
At the end of the day, what I think about Mike Mentzer, I could very easily sum up, but it's the same summary I could have given you 20 years ago. And the crazy thing to me is, like, I saw a fucking reel on my YouTube shit. You know, YouTube does the fucking shorts. And it was like, Mike Mentzer's advice on diet. What? Motherfucker was around in 1982. I don't give a fuck what someone from 1982 said about diet. I'm sorry. Because what he said about diet was already absorbed and processed by everyone by 1988, by 1996, 2012, 2023 out in this motherfucker, man. Next you're gonna you tell me what Elvis ate for breakfast. That's relevant. It's a flying fuck. And like, you know, Mike Mentzer was impressive for his time, but he wasn't impressive in an absolute sense. Yeah. Like, did he have some kind of insight that the rest of us didn't? I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. So when people are like, oh, what did Mike Mentzer like? What was his diet like? I'm like, why the fuck do you want to know? So I don't know what to tell you. So like, who am I compared to Mike Mentzer? Well, real talk, and this is me just being snooty, so I don't really mean all this. I mean, in a factual sense, but I don't want to come off like a dick. I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, that changes the game. I'm more educated than Mike Mentzer. I know more things than Mike Mentzer. Yeah. And a lot of that stuff because I'm some amazing guy. It's because I've just been in the future. Yeah. And I've learned everything he did and then everything after.
Yeah. Now, Dorian Yates, once great friends, close friends with the late Mike Mentzer, he heard of all this shit, right? He heard about the fake, well, not fake, but the bullshit PhD, might as well be fake. He heard about that, and then he heard about all the shit he was talking about his friend, and he wasn't happy. And maybe, Dorian watches my videos because he didn't call him just a piece of shit. He called him a big bag of shit.
Okay, I guess I'm Mike's friend. He's not here. So, Dr. Mike, first of all, I hope that you're being like tongue-in-cheek, kind of humorous. Otherwise, I fear either for your eyesight or your mental health. Because obviously, your physique's nowhere near Mike Mentzer, even with all the PEDs that you're taking, that you estimate will take 10 years off your life. Well, maybe you need to ask yourself whether it's worth it, mate, because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
Now, I've always liked, Mike Israetel. I've always watched his videos. I've always been entertained by them. But I never watched them because I wanted to learn some science-based bullshit for learning how to lift weights. I mean, to me, it was always common sense. You go to the gym, you lift hard, you eat hard, you see some results. It's not rocket science. It's not no science project. But I was thinking, I was like, why these guys try to make it so complicated for people? Because think about it. If they didn't, what new bullshit program would they have to sell you each week? But saying that, I never watched Mike because of his PhD, because of his science bullshit. I watched him because he's funny, he's entertaining, and he likes to talk shit like me. So I never gave a shit about the PhD, but I understood, why other people would think it's a big deal. But the thing that bothered me the most about this, the whole fiasco that happened, was the fact that when it happened, instead of coming clean, admitting it was 12 years ago, it was a piece of shit, that's what I did. Instead of admitting it, he came out and he tried to cover it up and say it wasn't the right draft. He tried to lie about it. He even got his butt buddies involved trying to cover it up. That Osama bin Laden looking asshole, Jeff Nippard, they all came in and they all tried covering it up and lying for him. And that's my issue. And I always say, I've said it many times here, no matter how bad the truth is, it's always better than the lie. And in this case, it's always better than the lie and the cover up. Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like on my video.